This is Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ICP fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast. What's going on, Christian?
Nothing much. What's happening, Missy?
Hello. And joining us tonight, coming from the Pro Mazda Championship, driver of the number 3 for Cape Motorsports, sponsored by Mazda Motorsports, Rising Star Racing, and Doug Mockett and Company, your USF 2000 champion. Welcome back, Oliver Askew. Welcome back, Ollie.
Hey, everyone. Thank you.
Ollie, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
As a matter of fact, I just realized something. I don't think I've done it. If I have, then you get it again. Please be all ad. Why does everything I do just fail? Trust me, this is a good. I just gotta get rid of this. I didn't
follow that one. I'm sorry.
No, you'll get it in a second. But I'm trying to get out of this classic 777 slots ad. I really need to buy this app. I'm telling you. There we go. Congratulations, Ollie. Yep. I think it keeps on going. Yep. You deserve it, buddy. You deserve it. For every win, we'd be here all day. So, at any rate. But, so, again, man, congratulations, dude. Domination at its best. I mean, you went through a little dip last year, but it was barely registered on the Richter scale. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was pretty much Mid-Ohio you locked it up last year, I believe, right?
Well, it came down to the very last lap at Watkins Glen. There was no margin for error there at the end of it, but I would have liked to have wrapped it up a bit earlier, but in the end, I think it made me a better driver having to fight for it all the way into the last lap, and just under so much pressure there at the end of Watkins Glen, and looking back at it now, I'm happy it ended the way it did, of course.
Right on. I'm sure Missy's shaking her head like, "Oh, Frank, you didn't remember." I do that with Mid-Ohio a lot. I don't know why. It honestly, because this year will be our 8th year in a row being there. That's probably why. Things just get scrambled up in my brain, and I'm not that smart to begin with, Ollie.
Right. So,
yeah.
Ollie, how do you feel that your first weekend in Pro Mazda went?
I felt that behind the scenes, I felt that we learned a tremendous amount. I don't think that we posted the results that we should have. Just the way the cards fell over the weekend, given us a few circumstances, a mistake on my part in race 2. But yeah, it made us a stronger team, and learned a lot. Looking forward to the season. When it comes down to racing, the track changes quite a bit, and we learned quite a bit in St. Pete about the new Pro Mazda car, the PM18. So, on to Barber now, and on to IMS, 2 tracks that we're very strong at last year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Barber. Can't wait. So, jumping from the USF 17, which, it should feel pretty, I guess, like, does it feel real familiar being in the cockpit of it? But the handling, of course, is totally different, and the horsepower. But does any of it feel familiar, like transferring from last year to this year?
The driving style is very similar. Obviously, the tub is is exactly the same. So I'm using the same seat, same measurements and everything. So the feeling is very similar, almost exact.
Okay.
But the speed is just tuned up quite a bit. So everything is working better, and the lap times were about six seconds quicker than the USF 2000 car. So more grip, more horsepower, and that's because of it.
Did you find yourself having more fun driving it than the USF car, you think? Or
Definitely more fun than driving the USF car. Both cars are fantastic. Great to work with. Respond to changes very well. A perfect platform for the Road to Indy. I think it's a very, very good choice to use the Tatis chassis. They're made very well, and obviously with the Mazda engines now, and both those cars, both the same block, it's a very good path to Indy Lights and IndyCar.
yeah, right on. I mean, we've been saying it, ever since they announced it, that it's just so smart. And I mean, did you see the USF 2000 grid this year at St. Pete? What was that 30? It looked like a Indy 500 grid. I mean,
It's awesome. It's really, really great to see, and it's expected because they had such a great opening season last year with that new car, and
yeah.
nobody has anything bad to say about it.
No, and everybody's just like, it's the best, it's the best junior Formula ladder series in the world to get you to the top of the racing pinnacle, really. I mean, and you can't argue that fact, honestly. And not only that, but the racing's amazing. The competition is really tough, and I mean, that's what makes it so great. And plus, Indy cars, popularity growing, I'm sure, is helping too. But we were remarking about it last year. I mean, we just more and more people are coming out, this Saturday before the big race to watch you guys race, and that's just really encouraging to see. So,
Yeah.
and seeing all those USF 2000 teams out there is just, it's obviously it's definitely paying off in spades. So
Yeah, like you said, I think it's a direct result of the growth, the recent growth, and the rise in IndyCar series. And also, like I said, just the Mazda Road to Indy, I think, is a great platform. To bring drivers to the pinnacle of American open wheel racing. So
right on.
It's really, really, really great to see right now with that new the new IndyCar. St. Pete was phenomenal, I think, racing wise, and I think it's just a glimpse of what we're going to see throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I was commenting when I was watching it on the big screen there. Like I've never seen so much wheel input. Every inch of that track. They were fighting those cars around the entire track, and it was just great to see. It wasn't all nice and smooth like it has been.
Right.
So definitely a lot racier cars. I mean, you take what? I mean, Missy, am I right? Like basically this new aero setup compared to last year's, what, like 1,000 less downforce? I think it was. Right, give or take.
Give or take, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. So that's good. It's really, really, really good.
I had a question about the St. Pete race. The race 2, the I guess you call it a botched restart. I really thought Ryan just stalled out or something. What was going from your perspective? What did you see? What I heard somebody got a little anxious throwing the green flag, or what did you see from your perspective on that not restart but start of that race?
Yeah, I do think it came down to someone being anxious with the green flag. Normally, the pole sitter gets to the acceleration zone, and then the pole sitter decides to accelerate. That the green flag normally doesn't dictate when the front row is going to accelerate.
Right.
So the acceleration happens first, then the green flag is thrown, and so that there's no jumping. The pole sitter gets the advantage every time. but I believe there was a glitch in the system there, and the green flag was flown before the acceleration zone. And I had such a great jump because we were prepared for that to happen. It did happen at Road America last year, a similar situation, and my spotter Jonathan George is always queued up on the mic, and he tells me when the green flag is waved. So immediately, as soon as the green flag was waved, I knew that I could go. So I pulled out a line and went around the front row.
That had to be heartbreaking when you heard, yellow or, and then come back around.
They red flagged it and
Yeah,
set everybody back up.
I don't understand why they red flagged it and parked everybody. Like that's one that that's pretty much the biggest question I have for you from race 2 is like, you got the adrenaline going, you get the green, you had a great jump, and then boo, and then in the pit, back in the pits, and you're sitting there. It wasn't exactly a cool day that day, not like the day before. Did that take a little
Yeah,
bit?
we were in the car for well over an hour there.
Yeah.
But I guess it for some people it might rattle them a bit, having the start red flagged and completely restarted. But I thought I was able to just completely refocus and just restart the race like the first one never happened. So,
Christian, do you have any questions? I know you asked Keith a great question about what Oliver just said, but I forget exactly how you worded it. But do you know where I'm going with that?
I don't.
Okay, well, I guess my question is, do you have a certain method that you do to, reset and refocus yourself? Like, do you have, breathing exercises, or do you...
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, well, basically, Oliver, what we were talking about with Keith was just kind of pre-race things that we like to do to get ourselves focused. And I feel like the listeners like to really hear those inside things, that you may not know about this particular driver,
totally.
that particular driver. So
I love talking about that stuff.
What do you do prior to race to get your head in the game?
For me, to get myself in the right mindset, I actually just listen to music. In that situation, obviously you have your helmet on and you can't listen to music, and you just have to mentally just completely, turn your head around and get back into the zone and do another restart like normal, and just go over your, the warming up the tires, the brakes, all that routine, and then coming up to the green, you're listening to the spotter, and it's all a routine that you don't really. It's all natural, because you've done it so many times. So you just kind of reset, and then once the green flag waves, you can't plan for anything. So up until then, it's all a routine. But before I have my helmet on, I always stretch and do a bit of yoga and a bit of warming up before I get out there. I don't want to get in the car, all stiff. I want to be ready to go. And I also just listen to music just to get, in the zone, I guess you could say.
Now I got to ask what the people really want to know is what is on the Oliver Askew playlist.
Oh, that was my question.
Are we talking?
I knew this was coming because of Lewis Hamilton. I knew it.
What's on the Oliver Askew playlist?
It actually changes every race that I go to. My musical preference is kind of all over the place right now. Anything. Right now is a lot of EDM, like house music, deep house, some underground stuff.
Lying, it's Taylor Swift, Bad Blood.
I was gonna say, you mean
it's not. So
disco?
I actually stay away from Taylor Swift and country.
Yeah.
Everything else is
so then you agree with me that country music is just really bad?
You know what? There is one country song that I like. It's called heartache on the dance floor.
Right on. I have to listen to it, but
And whoa! What's wrong with Tay Tay? There's nothing wrong with Tay Tay.
who?
I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
I love me some Taylor Swift, man.
Oh.
But that's cool though. So you're basically keeping yourself pumped up. From what you said, the EDM, the house, it's all going. The bass line's thumping.
Yeah.
It's all just very up music.
It is, yeah. It gives
right
it gives me chills and it gets me pumped up. And if you ask Kyle, I do a lot of dancing in the trailer too.
You should throw in
We'll
Linkin
have to have a
Park.
battle one of these days, man.
Yeah, Linkin Park. There you go. Throw in some Linkin Park to get you all pumped up. There you go.
Right. Well, you heard it here, folks. When I see Oliver at Lucas Oil, we're gonna have a dance battle.
Oh, there's another clue.
Much better, right? Frank, don't know what you're talking about. Right? Nobody knows what you're talking about. Right?
No.
All right.
Yep.
But but Oliver, let me ask you this.
Missy and I will be the last to know, I'm sure.
No, of course not.
Okay,
No, but Oliver, let me ask you this though. Obviously, I've seen you since the championship. We did the cook-off together, and I think I've seen you at Racecraft One as well. In between then and now, but going into the race, for that championship, I think an interesting question for the people to hear about is what were you going through in your head? I mean, knowing that it all came down to that right there. How does one stay in the mindset without those nerves overtaking you in that situation?
At Watkins Glen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I was super nervous going up to that weekend, especially that morning. And in the past, whenever I'm in that situation and whenever I feel that way, it doesn't hurt my performance. If anything, I get in the car, I turn on the engine, that all goes away. And if anything, I put so much preparation into it because it means so much to me. Typically it goes okay, and especially after that qualifying session, we qualified pole ahead of Arenas, which was crucial. And points wise, I got that extra point. That gave me, both myself and the team, a whole lot of confidence. There was, obviously still a lot of pressure, but there was a good vibe going on in the team that afternoon, a couple hours in between qualifying and the race. So,
Right.
I think qualifying definitely had a lot to do with it. Obviously, we didn't win the race, but we didn't have to, and that was my mindset going into it. I was starting second. I don't know how many podiums I had last year. There's quite a bit of podiums, both Renus and I knew that that's just had to keep my head on straight and just finishing the top four is all I had to do. So
I think it would be easier to count which ones you didn't podium, to be honest.
yeah.
No, right on, man. What have there been any changes at all within the team? Just moving up into to the Pro Mazda series. I mean, have you guys changed the formula at all? Are you guys attacking this thing any differently than you did last year, or what?
Personnel wise, there are no changes. I do have a teammate this year. That's one difference. I do have an extra mechanic this year because the Pro Mazda is a bit more intricate to work on than the USF 2000. Jeremy Bronner is that second mechanic this year. He's worked on a few Indy cars in the past. He was on Dan Weldon's car in 2010 at the Indy 500. 2010, I think it was. Also Will Paul, who was my mechanic last year, he's stayed in the car this year again. So he's been with the Capes for a couple of years now and has a lot of experience in the road to Indy. So very happy to have them on the car, and then obviously Nicholas and Dominic Cape. Nicholas, who's taking care of all the setup work and the pad, and Dominic's the engineer. So
Is that giving you any more confidence?
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like I don't feel like we've reached our full potential after last year. I feel like we can always be better. and to answer your question before, the way we're approaching is always changing because there's room to improve. Our relationship with each other and how we attack the weekend. So it's we try to improve in a good direction, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Well, Missy.
So, going into your next race, Barber now. I guess you haven't had any testing at Barber, have you, in the PM18?
We've had quite a bit, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we were there for 2 days in the off season, and also 2 days last month for official testing. The weekend before St. Pete, we were there, but we didn't get too many laps in during that test because of some gremlins with the car. But the series is actually giving us extra testing. I think we have 3 hours before qualifying when we go there again.
Oh,
so.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, because like if there's anything they need to really like change is I think they need to give you guys some more. I mean, like up and down the board, all 3 series, you guys need to get some more practice time in there. I think.
In the end, it just drives up cost. So I see. I like the direction that they're going with it now. Like last year, the testing was completely open, and guys with unlimited budget could go out and just run as many laps as they want. Just there's only so much you can test, but to get the systems working correctly and just getting the seat time is definitely helps. But now this year it's much more restricted, so you don't have to. You're not forced to spend so much money to keep up with those guys.
Now, during the test is when you go out there and you don't feel something right, or is your communication between your engineer getting better and especially with the PM18 from the USF 17. Like say like last year you would tell them okay, it doesn't feel like this, so maybe we should change the suspension or back wing, front wing, whatever the case may be. With this PM18, do you find like that kind of goes away and you have to like kind of relearn how to figure out what needs to be changed for what you're feeling with this car, or is it almost enhanced, or is it like more simplified?
Yeah, obviously with more downforce now, that change to the car is absolute king over any mechanical adjustments. So downforce is the biggest change right now with our car for us. I mean, mechanically, I'm learning as much as I can every weekend. Obviously, this is my second season in car racing, so I'm still have a lot to learn on the mechanical side. But when I come into the pits, I basically just tell Dominic, my engineer, what I'm feeling, and from experience over the past year, he knows what to change with that. I guess the USF 2000 cars is very similar in a way with all the mechanics on the car. To if you go a certain way with a change, the car is going to react very similar. With this year's PM18, so I'm learning as much as I can mechanically, so that when we go back into the engineer room, I can have a better conversation with the engineer. Talking about the mechanics of the car and how different things affect the handling. So.
No, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Christian.
Oh no, I was just gonna kind of piggyback off of what he was saying on how important it is to be able to relay that information. So I'm glad you're working on that, man. I know Frank's probably gonna get upset, but ask me if I care.
Do you care?
I don't care. NASCAR Kyle Busch. If you ever hear him
Cursing.
I know. No, but honestly though, if you ever listen to Kyle talk to his crew chief and talk to the mechanics, he can literally pinpoint the exact piece on the car that we need to be going in and in which direction. I think that's absolutely incredible. Just from, the butt of his pants, he can feel exactly what it is. So, whereas, sometimes when I'm talking, I'm just describing what's going on, whereas Kyle can literally pinpoint the actual piece. And that's become so crucial. So I'm glad to hear that that's something you're working on as well as mine.
Yeah.
So
that's not the way we're working right now with our program, because I'm not at that point. But in the future, I expect myself to be able to make statements like that.
Yeah, that's going to come.
Yeah. I'm very used to trusting my relationship with the engineer for him to make him or her to make the right decisions to the car. So I just tell them what I'm feeling, and then they can go back in their memory bank or their notes and see what that change, how that change affected the car in a previous test, and just go from there.
Right.
Excuse me. No, but that's a really great goal to have. The more hands-on to the car that you have, and the more that you understand the car, the more you can explain what it's doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and back to testing. It's very restricted, so you don't have much time to get it right.
Did you do a lot of testing at Sebring?
We did do a lot of testing at Sebring. Yeah, Sebring and Barber, we ran the most laps at.
Should MRTI and IndyCar have a race at Sebring, being as though you guys spend so much time testing there?
In my opinion, yes, because it's absolute legendary track. In my opinion,
awesome, right?
It's a lot of history there, especially in the sports car ranks. But I don't know if it's too bumpy for the open wheel cars. Not sure about that, but definitely think it'd be cool to run around there in an Indy car, or even in a Pro Mazda for that matter.
Yeah, definitely. And when you guys do test at Sebring, what's the layout of the track that you guys normally utilize?
So we run. So take the full track. We run turns, turn 4 all the way to the tower turn. And then we take a right cut through back to turn 4 after the tower turn. Okay,
I'm trying to visualize it. Okay, so 17 you don't really touch much, or you do?
At all.
Okay.
We don't touch it at all. We don't touch the front or back straightaway of the big track.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, because I don't think you guys want to go near that 17. Yeah. Oof.
No, that's the most bumpy on the track.
Yeah. Poor Tristan. He puts the thing on pole for the 12 hours, and then at night, that bump got him. That's a sneaky bump. All right. Yeah, but I was always curious because I was there, but it's a little bit disorienting when you're there and there's pickup trucks rolling around with poles on them, and just all around fun going on. So it kind of takes away from whoa, what corner am I at? So but
I know what you mean.
right on. Excuse me. Missy, do you have a question?
No, not really. I'm out.
No, not really. Okay. Christian?
Yeah, no. I'm just excited to see you get back out there, man, in Alabama and see what else to do. Now, something I could ask, because I do know some people would like to know this. When Oliver Askew's traveling around,
oh boy,
over there, what are you doing for
you cut out time out
outside of the racetrack?
Christian, time out.
What's that? But
you cut out about like 2 seconds there, I think.
I cut out. That was the most profound thing I've ever said in my entire life, and it's gone. I can't repeat it. No. Basically, Oliver, I was asking, when you're out, and you're at Barber coming up, you're at this track this month, you're at this track that month. what are you doing outside of the track for fun? I mean, because you're in a different place. You might as well go see some stuff. Is there anything you got planned to do in Alabama while you're down there, other than hit the race?
To be honest, when we travel and go to races, normally it's just back and forth from the track and the hotel.
Oh, come on,
it
man.
Depends
Don't hand me
where we're
that.
going. It depends where we're going. So Alabama, there's not a whole lot going on around there at the track. But there's places like St. Pete and Toronto where there's so much to do. It depends where we're going. I can see Alabama or Barber right now being pretty straightforward, just back and forth from the track to dinner.
Gonna make me come down there?
If anything, I spend a lot of time at the supermarket buying snacks. So that's that. If I'm doing any extra activity, that's where I'll be.
Gotcha. Look for him in aisle 6.
Yeah.
Right. That's perfect.
And I just want to throw it out there, like if that whole red flag thing ever happens again, which it might, you never know. Your spotter could get creative and still play your playlist through his microphone into your helmet. Think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to go back to that. It was an idea I had. And I had to get off my head so I can just push that out and think of something else. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way to bring it back round circle to where we started, Frank. Right on. We were traversing so further. Anyway, but to Christian's question though, since most of the tracks minus I guess Monterey will be your, well, not your first time obviously, but and Monterey's a great town to be in, trust me. Well, obviously you've been there, but besides that one, like a Toronto or whatever, is there any track that you're looking forward to going to where, as Christian said, is like a lot of little like you have a really good time there, you might even stay there for a couple extra days after the race?
Besides St. Pete and Toronto, I'm looking forward to Portland because I've never been there, and I've been to Northern California and I absolutely love it, and I expect Portland to be somewhat similar. So I'm looking forward to going there and seeing what that place is all about. And
well, you're in luck. Christians grew up from that area.
Did he?
Yes, you did. Seattle Seahawks fan.
Go Hawks.
Fly Eagles fly.
And go Mariners too. Baseball season's back in swing, so go Mariners. But I'm planning on making that race. So we could definitely kick it. I'll show you some cool spaces, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, dude.
It's a long way from now, but that's it's one of the tracks I'm looking forward to. IMS, which I love. I can't get enough of that place or the city.
It's going to be a busy month.
Yeah, but
other
than that, there's not a whole lot going on. So, as far as activities away from the track goes.
Right on. Right on.
When we get then I'll show you some things, man. You got the Rose Garden, you got the Nike factory.
Is this Portland?
Like every shoe ever made. It's ridiculous. Nike, Frank.
In Portland, I'm saying.
Yeah. I know. I'm just. I'm just messing with you, Frank, because I know you wear classics, but yeah.
That's awesome. I love Nikes.
Well, then you'd love Portland.
I'm seriously considering. My brother lives in Oregon, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
literally every shoe ever made. It's ridiculous there.
I definitely want to go there this year. I hope all the cards fall in line, because and I want to meet her brother. I haven't met her brother yet, so.
Oh, right. Okay. All right, man.
That's a long story for a way off topic show.
Well, yeah, we've been together 18 years. I've never met her brother, and I know that sounds odd, but there's a story behind that. But no, but he's a good guy. He's not a Marine anymore, right, Miss?
No, but he's an ex-Marine.
That's what happens when
Right.
you're not one anymore. Right on. Okay. Just like Christian, he's not in the army. He's ex-army, or he used to be
Veteran. I guess they're all veterans, right?
veterans. Yeah. Because ex-Marine sounds like he got kicked out.
No, he did not. He was honorably discharged.
We'll thank him for his service.
I do. He was a Marine. Yeah. No, I love my brother.
I can't wait to meet him. Kenneth. Random. Same nose. She doesn't believe me. I see it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's another story for a way off topic show. Because that gets a little deep.
Tell me about it. Oliver, you have any older, younger brothers or sisters?
I have a sister 2 years younger.
Do you see her following in your footsteps?
She hates racing.
Right on. Does she at least come to the track to support you?
She went to Toronto, and it wasn't for the racing. That's about as close as it got.
So she didn't get to see what happened. So it was a win-win for her.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I mean, like I said, a little divot, but then right back up. But you have a goal this year, you know. Toronto, you're just gonna, you know, improve. I mean, yeah, there you go. But I mean, you know, let's be honest, it wasn't really your fault. I mean, you know, people are all over the place that I've never heard of before, and you kind of you couldn't miss them, you know. So what are you gonna do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's what I could hear.
I missed it. I must have missed something.
I very well could have. I mean, I could be thinking of. We'll talk after the show. Yeah, it's okay. And then I'll clear my head up. Okay. Excuse me. Now, I remember that the layout of Toronto last year, everybody was having like a big. Oh, it's terrible. Have you heard anything to the effect that they might be changing it back to where it originally was? Not that you would know what there originally was as far as racing on it, but did you like the setup of Toronto last year? Like how they set the street course up?
Yeah. Well, with street races, there's always changes, and for the most part, they're positive changes to the track every single year. For example, this year in St. Pete, they repaved turn 3, which was very smooth and a lot easier for us on the starts compared to last year. A lot more open and more flowing into turn 4, which was another main passing zone into there. You know, both turn 1 and turn 4. So yeah, for as far as Toronto goes, I expect it to be a very difficult street race again. It's a lot more rough compared to St. Pete, but that's, you know, it's just the characteristics of all these tracks, and I expect it to be for there to be changes. You know, there's always, you know, pavement changes and repaving and walls changing. And that's why I don't typically practice these tracks on the simulator, because that's, you know, the walls are always different whenever you go back to these tracks in real life. So
Okay, I mean, do you do any like any simulator work for like maybe like the ovals that you're going to be doing?
I don't have easy access to a simulator right now, but I will definitely be on a simulator for Gateway, Portland, just those 2 tracks, I believe.
You know where to go, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
And where's that, Christian?
That is Racecraft 1 here in Indianapolis, run by Kelly Jones.
Right on. And if you are an iRacer out there, which a lot of you are, stay away from the Indy Fixed race this week. Oh boy, I've raced 5 races. I haven't gotten past lap 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're terrible.
What track are they on?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it's a yeah.
Once you
Short.
do a lap in it, you're like, this is why they don't go there. Okay, got it. This track sucks. Oh, anyways.
I hear you, man. All right.
So, all right. Well, Ollie, uh, you know, I, okay. So we went through St. Pete. You're looking forward to Barber. I mean, you definitely, yeah. I remember you talking about before the season last year about how, um, I think you did a little bit of testing at Barber and how much you just liked the like the technical aspects of it. Um, so then, after racing it last year and it being yeah, because nobody's racing at Long Beach but IndyCar, right? For some odd reason. So yeah, so Barbara in the Pro Mazda, do you foresee anything like different that you'll have to probably adjust to with this new car, or do you feel pretty confident going in with the amount of testing that you've done there so far?
I feel very confident with the amount of testing we've done, and with the baseline that we set last year in the USF 2000 car. We were very competitive, and I expect to be the same. We were also very competitive in St. Pete. We just we couldn't put it together there at the end in the races, but I expect to continue to set track records and qualify well and race well too. So I like that track, especially because it takes a lot of commitment and there's not much margin for error. With the new Pro Mazda car, the commitment's going to go up with that extra downforce on the car compared to the USF 2000 car. So with those Barbers super flowing, high speed corners, fifth gear, fourth gear, and that's pretty high speeds with the downforce we have, and it just the cars are stuck to the ground, and I couldn't even imagine what an Indy car would feel like around there. So that's what I like most about that place is there's, with everything being so blind and hard to see, you just have to be super precise and at the same time be super committed.
Like almost get to a point where you can do it with your eyes closed, and
yeah,
like
ideal.
And like as perfect as possible. I mean, because like
Yeah.
because that's why I love Barber. It's like one of those tracks where it really does highlight um, like this driver's really, him and his team's really clicking on all cylinders right now because look how well he did at Barber, say. So it's always a really good like do you guys look at it like almost like a benchmark on where you're at throughout this like 2 races into a season or say 4 events into a season, when you leave in Barber, uh, and you look back, you're like, all right, we're actually pretty good, or we're ahead of where we thought we would be, kind of like a benchmark moment almost.
Yeah, I don't think we're setting any benchmarks right now. There's a preset benchmark, way before the season starts, and that's just to win as many races as possible and podium as much as we can, and the championship is the main goal.
Definitely.
And I definitely wait. As soon as the USF 2000 championship ended, I knew that we were going to be competitive in Pro Mazda. So as soon as we started winning races in USF 2000, that is. That hasn't changed at all, and St. Pete's behind us now, and we just gotta get on a roll here. A couple wins would be nice at Barber.
There you go. But yeah, it's all about all about consistency, right? Consistency.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, winning every other, winning 90% of the races helps, but consistency also does that too. But alrighty. Yeah, I mean, honestly, however, like I was really interested in how your demeanor is going to be now that the season's back on, because I remember during the off season, after like you won the championship last year, it's almost like you could almost breathe a little bit, you know. But I hear the same like Ollie like from this time last year, and I'm actually like happy to hear that out of you, to be honest with you, because
Thanks, man.
because that's how you sounded the same last year, like hyper focused and just super calm and cool and collected and just focus, like your head's exactly where it needs to be. And I don't know, Christian, do you agree? Like, can you hear what I'm trying to say here? Like, do you hear it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it me?
no,
I mean, it's just
I
because I
definitely
know
hear
him. I don't know. I've been talking to you
Yeah.
for the last year, and I don't know.
you.
So, but Missy, okay, Missy, do you hear it?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, good on you, Ollie. Very, very good. I mean, because some
Yeah.
people win a championship and it goes their head. Like, all right, you know what? I'm like really good now, and I just proved it. So, I'll take care of everything now. It's cool. I'll just show up and problem solved. I'm here.
I
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think for me, yeah, I totally get what you mean. I think for me, it's very hard to think that way because the championship is the main thing that's keeping me racing right now. So, if I want if I want to race next year and the year after that, that's just I don't really have a choice but to win, and
And
so that's why the mindset hasn't changed.
it's kind of funny how the Mazda Road to India almost like, I mean, because really great racers have that mindset, right?
Mhm.
That I'm not happy until I've got the championship trophy in my hand, right? And then I'm not
Mhm.
happy until I get next year's, right? So, and the way the system's set up is you kind of have to have that mindset to really progress, unless you go out and find the funding to progress, which a lot of drivers do, and I'm glad that they do, to keep the to keep the rivalries going,
Mhm.
and so you guys start to get the more familiar with racing each other that you get, the better the racing gets, and so on and so forth. So that and that's also important. However,
That's how they wind up with bad blood.
like between who and who. Any
Yeah, right.
we have plenty of examples.
Yeah. It's an emotional sport in the end.
It really is.
It's I don't it's not similar to many other sports, but for example, you could have the best car and be the best driver out there, but if your mind's not in the right place, you're not going to be anywhere. If you're not hungry enough to do well, then that's just not what's going to happen. So
Yeah, like not only that, but having some of the best talent around you that you're racing against, I'm sure, really ups your game as well, and even makes you even more focused, right?
yeah, and people don't realize. Well, most people don't realize how close the times are. For example, at Watkins Glen in qualifying, Renus and I were kind of separated from the rest of the field, only separated between us by only a tenth, and that's around what, almost a 2-minute track.
At least, I mean,
And
how many
so
turns? Like 15.
yeah,
It's a big
I,
track,
I
that's for sure.
I forget. We were definitely around 2 minutes. I forget what time we were doing around there, but it's a long, really long place, and the times just get even closer at the smaller tracks that we go to. So
Yes, definitely.
that tenth of a second can be just your mindset, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Or you're just not hitting like a mark
Yeah,
right, or like one
yeah.
apex that you're not getting right, and there it is.
Mm.
And the margin for error is so small. Excuse me. Right on. Christian, do you have any other questions that you have?
No, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing him back out there, and Hopefully catch you at Racecraft One sometime.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be fun.
How about you, Missy? Do you have anything else that you'd like to ask Ollie?
No, I think we covered it.
Right on. Well, Ollie, we got about what do you think, Missy? About five more minutes left, so we could talk a little bit about the upcoming race, IndyCar, and and we can get Ollie off the hot seat here, and we can talk a little bit, a little bit about the racing series that is in his very near future.
Oh yeah, and a little bit F1. F1 has a race this weekend.
I wasn't talking about that at all. I don't think.
Well, I was because I just read a headline and I just had to read the article, and the headline,
we can talk
stupid.
about F1 is after the
No.
race is over.
No.
I have a great Kimmy clip I found on Twitter today.
Yeah.
It was gold just because he opened his mouth.
Yeah, Kimmy's great. And speaking of F1, just a quick shout out to Samantha down in Australia, who went to her first F1 race in Melbourne. I know she's listening. So,
oh, did she enjoy the 5 passes the entire race?
She might have.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Only after the first, start of the race.
Yeah, no, it was her first race ever though, so I'm pretty sure
okay.
she just enjoyed any kind of racing was cool to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you the spectators there were very keyed into Hamilton's not stopping a lap early thing. Right.
Yeah.
That's
Finished
cool.
what second, right? Second he finished?
Shout out to all of you. Oh, IndyCar spec. Boo. All right, we'll go to F1 and have fun. While we enjoy a great competition over here in our spec class racing. Brr. I swear I can't stand the argument. I'd rather have spec racing. It's not spec racing anyway. How many adjustments are on the Pro Mazda 18 alone that'll change a car from a second faster to a second slower? Honestly, 2 if you touch them. Out of the 102. So how spec really is it really? I don't know.
I'm just saying the headline that caught my attention in F1, and then I had to read the article, and then
What was the headline anyway?
the headline is FIA calls urgent meeting to discuss overtaking.
What? It's not. We need less of it. They need less of it. I mean,
They want to discuss ways to improve overtaking for 2019.
oh, good.
What's so urgent about it then? Why do you need to call an urgent meeting to discuss improving it for 2019?
You do realize
you're one race into this 2018 season.
Did you hear what Richard said? If the FIA wants to change something, like I don't know, where they put the camera on the car so you don't just see a giant
don't
halo.
even get started on that.
Well, they want to change it. Guess when they can? Next year. It's just
stupid. It's stupid.
Well, that's yeah.
It's stupid.
They wonder why it is what it is. Okay, so
Well, they're in Bahrain this weekend, so just throwing that out there. And if you'd like to see their schedule for this weekend, this wonderful person by the name of Missy painstakingly typed it out on our website, which can be found at www.theindysportscarpodcast.com. So you can find there where practices, qualifying, and the race will be on, and even what channel to find them on. Yeah. I know, I'm great.
Great work.
Save your applause.
Way to really pat yourself on the back. All right, and then real quick, Missy, do you have the schedule for IndyCar Phoenix for this weekend?
Yes, I do. So they will be starting tomorrow, Friday, April 6th. Practice 1 will be happening at 2 p.m. This is all mountain time, so just subtract 3 hours, is it? 3 hours? Yeah. So they're streaming Facebook, IndyCar.com, Twitter, YouTube, and qualifying will be on TV. Yeah, why? Because it's on NBC Sports Network, starting at 5 p.m. and they'll be on TV till about 6:30 p.m. So which means we'll get some post-race or post-qualifying, too. Wow. And then final practice will happen at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that will be streaming on IndyCar.com, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And that will conclude Friday. And then Saturday, race will happen at 6 p.m. and go till about 9 p.m. Which again, that's all not Eastern, all Mountain Standard Times. Which I said like Eastern. I say subtract 3. Wait, no, add 3, right?
No,
Add
no,
3.
add 2.
3.
Pacific would be add 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, it's add 3 because daylight savings time doesn't exist in Arizona.
Ah.
Oh yeah, there you go. So add 3 hours.
Okay, add 3. All right.
So really, 5 o'clock for practice 1 on Friday, and the broadcast will start at 8 o'clock p.m. For qualifying, and the race will happen at 9 p.m.
All right.
All right, and then real quick predictions for the winner of the race. Oliver, who do you think?
I have Ed Carpenter for the win.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, oh, oh.
Missy, rebuttal?
Rebuttal Missy.
Why? Why, Ollie? Why? Why Ed
Is that your
Carpenter?
pick?
No. Why Ed Carpenter, Ollie?
I just feel like
He wants to race
I
them someday.
I was just feeling it. I was just feeling it.
Do not use
I
those words.
put two seconds of thought into that answer, and that's what I came up with.
That is the wrong answer on this show.
You don't like Ed?
No. Ed Carpenter's
I don't have
great.
a problem with Ed.
Missy
I have
just
a
doesn't want
problem
him in a
with
car.
Considering himself an oval specialist.
Hey, Robin Miller said it.
Still must be true.
No.
It's yeah.
Yeah, we'll go over the.
Gotta win some more ovals than one or two.
I'm
You're
sure
like,
we can pick back up this conversation next week, Missy.
Well, we could.
And we will. And we will.
Missy, winner.
Will Power. He was robbed last year.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and I mean, if I were to think about that some more.
No, Ollie, you're done.
No,
You're done
Ollie.
now.
Missy,
He's
done
position.
now.
Ollie is allowed to change his decision. Ollie, go right ahead.
So, just looking at consistent results from past couple of years, Carpenter's always has a good car. So you can't count out Spencer. Obviously, the Penske's, the Ganassi's, and actually the Rahal cars look pretty good in testing there a couple months ago. So I might see Sato back in victory lane there.
Ooh.
Maybe even Graham.
Well, let's not go too crazy. But Sato, good pick. I will accept the Sato. I will accept Sato as your pick. You know, you went a little bit too far past that, but it's okay. Reeled you back in. All right. Okay, so Missy's billion power. All right, Christian?
Bill Power. Well, it seems as though I guess we're keeping it with our usual picks then, yeah?
So
Missy?
Justin Newgarden, right on. I hope he does well.
With the usual suspects here, Missy? The usual suspects?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to go with Joseph Newgarden.
Bandwagon.
I know that's a wait. Whoa.
No, I'm joking.
Frank, you can't name a single show that I've been on with you where I haven't said right. Not a single one. Long before the championship, sir. Long before the championship.
That's why it's funny. Same thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I got to pick, huh? Charlie
Yep.
Kimball. There you go. All right, so.
Don't believe that.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding. I think Ed Jones is going to win, if not at least P2. There you go.
I hope, man.
the overlooked man at Ganassi right now because he's driving with Dixon, and that's how he likes to win. That's how he likes to win. Out of the shadows comes Ed Jones in for the win, all the time. Just look at his career. There you go. So that's my pick. Excuse me. Alrighty. So all right, and then so definitely Christian, where can I find your book at, buddy?
You can find my book, My Life and Story, The Outside Groove by Cosby Media Productions at Amazon.com, as well as Barnes & Noble, Kodo, Books A Million, and other fine retailers.
As well as some seat in a race car.
That he'll be driving.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Hey, I see the picture, all right? I see the
You
picture.
took the picture, Christian, and posted
I don't know what you're talking about.
it.
Hey,
Some
just throwing it out there.
Little gremlins. No.
super fans, I get it, who just happen to own USF
Who's
17
with it?
cars. Okay.
And everyone giving Formula, because I'll be giving Formula One a chance again this weekend. They're starting tomorrow with their practices. 7 a.m. will be their first practice tomorrow, April 6th at ESPN 3.
Missy.
April 2nd. Nope, I'm going to keep going.
No,
Practice
because
2, April
Ollie's got to go,
6th.
Miss.
Okay.
I've been trying to get to IndyCar and zing, we did
I'll
F1
find
already.
on the website.
There you go. Find it all on the website. There you go. And Ollie, where can they follow you at, buddy?
And on all social media platforms, all the major social media platforms, and also my website, oliveraskew.com.
Right on. And is merch available there?
There are hats available,
Ooh.
and within the next week, there's going to be some new and improved hats coming out
Well,
on that website.
I really like the old one, to be honest with you. Yeah,
There's going to be some black and white ones coming out. That is a bit of foreshadowing of my new helmet.
Nice. Flex fit style hats, or
They are snapback.
okay. Special order flex fit hats, maybe.
Can do.
Right on. I like that.
Can do.
Yep. 39, 30, 39. Yeah. Medium, large. Care of Frank Liggett, 315 Ferris. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa!
I'm kidding.
And on that note,
There you go.
you know that I know that, Frank, oh my God, I just don't even know anymore with him. And Christian and Ollie, of course, they always know,
We know.
Oh yeah.